exciting edition of Development Corner on Bina TV with me, Fatimatu Ahmed. Do watch us live this and every Thursday on our Facebook page and also on our YouTube channel at Bina Multimedia. My guests today are brothers from the Light Foundation. We have Brother ADNAN MUSTAPHA he's in charge of monitoring and evaluation, and also IMAM YUSSIF SAKIB is a PRO for Light Foundation. Gentlemen, welcome to Development Corner.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I'll start with Brother ADNAN. What is Light Foundation? Tell us a bit about it.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Alhamdulillah, we thank Almighty Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for the gift of life and an opportunity to be here in the beautiful studios of Bina TV. Let me start off by expressing my admiration to the fact that having walked in here, I see my own people, brothers and sisters, running a very vibrant, platform. All of this is geared towards promoting the Zongo and our people. Thank you very much and kudos. The Light Foundation is a non-governmental, non-profit, interfaith organization. It was established in the year 2005, and it's been in existence since. We've been active, and our key thematic areas include water, sanitation, and hygiene. We look at child protection and support programs. We look at peace promotion and interfaith and advocacy. These are the key thematic areas that we work in. But beyond that, there are other activities that we work along with. The Light Foundation the idea was championed by our CEO, Sheikh Ali Napari. He's someone that is passionate about development and projecting the image of Zongos and Muslim communities, not just in the inner city dwellings, but across the country. And to this effect, at his own personal level, he made some efforts, but he wanted a project that could go beyond his own lifespan. And to do so, there was a need to put up a foundation that will have a roadmap and structures that even when he is no more, the organization will still carry on with the good intentions and works that he has for his own people.
Let me go to Imam and then I come back to Imam. You actually Muna a bit about Light Foundation. You can cookie. So far, actually, communities now are cooker impact.
Alhamdulillah, salatu wassalam ala rasulullah. Farko muna gode ma Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala kuma mun murna da Bina TV. Wannan ci gaba ne na addinin musulunci wanda muke gani kuma zai ji ni sai ta muke mu. Ga Light Foundation dukkan fadin Ghana muna aiki a wurin. Muna Northern Region, muna ko ina muna nan. So far ayyukan mu a Greater Accra mun yi aiki Eastern Region zaka muna gina musu ruwa da sauransu. Voter Region mun yi aiki kuma muna cikin aiki. Northern Region muna aiki, Ashanti mun je mun aiki. Dukkan aikin da ya zama da cewa is about development muna cikin. Ba lalle shi unguwan Zango kare ba, muna duba abin da zai kawo ma duka Ghana zaman lafiya. In Zango ya samu zaman lafiya, Sarora ya samu zaman lafiya ba sai ya kawo cikas a rayuwar mutum. Isa Light Foundation mu ce 16 regions na duka muna ko ina muna aiki. Yanzu haka dai aikin mu yayi karfi daga Northern Region, ya karfi daga Ashanti Region, Eastern Region, kuma aikin mu kuma ya karfi daga Greater Accra Region kuma daga Voter Region. Yanzu muna anticipate zuwa ga voter basin, black voter basin nan duka muna duba insha Allah kwana biyu za mu zo mu duba batun mu kamar mata masu noma ya kamata mu taimaka musu wurin noman su yasa yanda za mu su mu duba agriculture na wato na zamani yanda za mu su ya gona su ya wato yayi kyau sannan kuma wanda bature ke ce masa value chain yanda za su yi wurin seedlings da za su shuka da kuma yanda in abincin yayi inda za a sayar da shi saboda kada bashi ya zo wannan duka yana cikin bahas ko kuwa research da muka yi muna duba mu samu su taimako mu je wurin insha Allah da muke cikin kenan.
So da yawa zonganen mu aka ce ana yin foundation ko NGO musa time kana gande gina ramuka na ruwa ko gina masallataya shine muke sa karfi ciki amma apart from that now in terms of education Light Foundation do you do something like that? Kuna yin haka?
Light Foundation saboda ya zamo jam'iyya wanda ya zamo daban a cikin Ghana ga da sauran jam'iyyun da muka sani cewa namu ne a gina rijiya, a gina masallaci. Light Foundation na duba batun yara, batun education. Idan Allah ya so ya da wannan Girl Child Day, International Girl Child Day, muna da haraka da wato school na ce masa school MUSTAPHA. Batun ilimi ya zama muna muhimmanci, hatta batun yadda ake sha da yaro mamma duka wannan ilimi duka muna ciki. Kamar yadda dan wani ya ce batun wurin tsafta da sauransu wannan duka muna ci. Yasa ya bari ma mu da UNICEF na aiki, muna da mu da STAGA na aiki, ba jam'iyya ne ke zaune haka nan ba. Muna hatta hukuma ma mu da hukuma na zama. Da za a yi census, Light Foundation mun kokarin za mu wato mu nuna ma zangonnai mu muhimmancin census. Annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam bai zauna cikin masallaci ba shi ya san masu wadanda ke cikin masallacin. Bai zauna unguwa ba shi ya san wadanda ke cikin unguwan. Annabi ya san adadin shabab matasan da yake da shi da tsofaffi da mata saboda ya san kamar ya zai tafi da rayuwarsu. Yasa wannan duka ilimi ne na addinin musulunci. Yasa da aka duka batun census muka ce ai mu ne census. Yasa ya kwata mu karantar da mutanen zango menene amfanin census. Wannan karatu kenan. Muka kare kuma muka je muka yi research muka kaman wasu cikasin da ke nan da ba sani ba, muka tafi muka zauna da masu wato wannan statistics abin nan board yayiwa service, muka zauna da su na hukuma muka ba su wannan abin da muka gani daga kasa. Yasa Light Foundation wato wurin ilimi da alhamdulillah muna tafi da shi kuma kowane fanni muna nan muna aiki da shi ba gine-gine muke yi ba.
Brother Adnan, he was talking about education, how Light Foundation was even able to go back to the Zongos to educate them about taking part in the current census that was taken place. I want to know, Light Foundation, mostly Muslims, we say when it comes to politics, a lot of us draw back because we think politics is a dirty game or it's not something that a noble Muslim should partake in. What have you done to encourage like our learned brothers who want to go into politics but they think that it's not something to do as a Muslim?
Thank you very much. In addition to what he has said, one of the things that we do is that we have a huge youth platform, across the various zongos and Islamic settlements in the country. And what we do is Batum Peace. We go to them, we dialogue on ways that we can all come together, reach a consensus on how they can relate well to take themselves out of any violent tendency related issue that will jeopardize the peace that we have in this country. And we have a very cordial relationship with the Muslim caucus in Parliament. We engage them on various issues. Recently, they hold the Maiden International conference in the country to bring together all stakeholders that are championing the cause of Islam, specifically for us to dialogue on how we can better empower our youth to be competitive when access to these opportunities are available. It's not that the Muslim youth is not confident. It's not that the Muslim youth doesn't want to put themselves forward, but we've over the years not been able to position our young people to be very and highly competitive enough to see themselves therein for most of these positions. Most of the time, any issue, challenge that this country is facing, when you go to our side of the country, is chronic, it is endemic. This is the narrative the Light Foundation is working to challenge, that the Muslims can offer more to this country beyond the makarantas that we are building, beyond just putting up Arabic scholars and all of that. There are so many other aspects that contribute to national development, that we have the competitiveness, we have the manpower, we have the people with the right mindset to be able to do that. All we need to do is to come up together with a concerted effort. It's not just about the Light Foundation. There are so many other similar sister organizations. Our scholars, they are doing their bits when they mount on the podiums. Our traditional authorities, the ulamas in the zongos and all of that, each and every one of them, they are doing their own bits in their own corner. But what we need now is to come together, have a sense of purpose, unity of purpose, they say, I beg your pardon, and that way we can know who has what strength, who is bringing what on board. Then when we bring all of this together, we complement each other's effort for the betterment of our people and beyond our communities.
For so long, the Zongo community has always been pointed out when it comes to violence, when it comes to election, when we need people to go and cause confusion or go and show manpower. That's where our strength is. But when we say we want people that will be intellectual come out and come and speak when it comes to intellectual basis, things that will develop the country. They are always drawing back. Has Light Foundation done anything to sensitize the youth about not involving in violence when it comes to election and other areas that need violence? Even recently, you know about Ijira, the killings and all that happened, it was Muslims.
Yes.
So what has Light Foundation done to stop such things from happening?
Since the establishment of the Light Foundation in the year 2005, every election that has come after that, 2008, 2012, 2016, 2020, the Light Foundation has made sure it actively participated in joining hands to complement the efforts of various organizations aimed at, watering down the tensions that is usually characterizing our elections. For some of the election years, we did it. There are self-initiatives that we did, but as we were doing then, other people were watching and seeing the progress we were making in the Zongo communities in trying to get our people, disarm them in terms of their mindsets towards violent tendencies and take them out of that. True, the Zongos has become a supply source for most of these violent activities. When it comes to opportunities, we don't have our people, but when it comes to perpetuating acts of violence, then they fall on the Zongos. And so what we do, like I said earlier on, for instance, in the year 2020, we partnered with Star Ghana, as one of the biggest humanitarian organizations in the country, to tackle the influx of our youth into political vigilante groups. And like I said, in Medina, in Mamopi, in Ashaiman, all of these communities, we engaged the youth. We didn't just go to the radio to speak to them, even though we did aspects of that, but we went into the slums themselves, we went into the ghettos, we sat with these youth leaders and their followings, we dialogued, we spoke to them, we had experts in our midst as well to really have that conversation on how to make our young people enterprising, how to better position them, because it's not just about going to tell them not to engage in violence. What's amounting to that is as a result of unemployment. So whilst we are telling them to not allow themselves to be used for all these violent tendencies, we are also brainstorming with them in ways that we think we can better position them to be able to access opportunities that their counterparts in East Legon, they are enjoying, their counterparts in Airport West, Airport Residential. But most importantly, we let them understand that they are also major stakeholders of this country. So what sort of country are we building for ourselves? Because all the people that are leading us in the next 10, 15, 20 years, even if they are alive, but they'll be incapacitated, what will be their use to us? We will be at the helm of affairs. Our children will be there. So if we destroy this country, we are not destroying it for anybody, we are destroying it for ourselves. Another example that we cite to them going forward is that Ghana has always been the home to all these other countries that are surrounding us. Bujumbura is a living testimony to our hospitality. Anytime any of our neighboring countries is bedeviled with violence, Ghana is the place that they call home. Right now, Togo is a no-go area. Even Nigeria, they have their own uprising. You go to Cameroon, they have their own issues. All these other countries, recently Guinea. If we destroy Ghana, if we contribute in destroying Ghana, where are we going? We'll be stuck here. So we all have to. That is the sort of mindset training we are giving them, and it's helping shape, and taking them out of the thoughts of.
Imam, kace ba zongo mu ba mu fahimta siyasa bane, yasa ne in yazo shi inda siyasa ke benefits ba mu samu, amma inda da siyasa ke da problems duka wurin na ake gamu. Ba mu fahimta politics bane ko me?
Na'am, a farko dai ban ce rashin fahimta ko dai ka ko rashin fahimta wurin. Ka gani komi ana fara shi daga kasa ne. In baka samu asalin kan abu ba, wato abin nan baka samu amfani shi kuma. Ka gani kamar yadda dan wani fadi, tarbiyya yana da muhimmanci. Wurin tarbiyya da yawa muka fi, musamman mu yi magana batun ka gwada madanka yin sallah da sauransu lokacin da ke shekara 7. Wanga annabi ya baka yaro ka fara apprenticeship 3 years, shekara 7, 8, 9, 10. Amma so wani lokacin muke batun sallan yaran mu lokacin da sam 15 years, shekara 15, apprenticeship ne bai shiga ba. Annabi ya ce ma wai fara mai apprenticeship lokacin ba ka bugun shi, ana lallashin shi ne. To ya samu shekara 3 yanzu ya shiga apprenticeship kenan. Bai iya sallah ba shi ka dauko bula ka buga a cikin ta bashi tsoro da shi. Wannan duka ba mu yi ba. yasa yaran mu nan ko kuwa matasan mu mun fail a wani wuri yasa da ya taji kama to ni in an ce aje da buku ma ban da shi in an ce a daji abin nan ban da aiki yasa na dauki sanda an bani 50 Ghana masalan kenan rashin ilimi da rashin sani ina zai huskanci idan mutum ya san inda zai huskanci to lalle ya san abin da yake ciki inda annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya je Madina a yafta maka ne je Madina ko ya je da manyan mutane amma da yaje bai ce ku gina masallacin fara sallah ba wai ina yake kai ne mai kasuwa ko zo nan kai da wannan guda mai aiki kai da wannan ku je gona kai da wannan ku kare sai da ya position sahabansa suka samu cewa to yanzu kowa na da abincin ci mutum ana gina mutum ne in ba gina mutum ba to ya zama wani abu daban ya zama wani abu daban yanda zai rayu yayi sai ya doki bindiga je sata ya doki abin da ya bi yan politics ya samu 50 Ghana da 100 Ghana yayi yasa ba wai rashin fahimtar nan kawai bane mun yi hasara a wani wuri yasa ya kamata mu manyan mu da sarakai mu da wadansu ko je su kuru da malumman kin ga inda kuma masala guda yake sarki na ta kanshi wanda ya je su kuru da malami ba su ci an rabu
ba don muna ce kamar boko koyon boko bai da wani important ke dina aka dai ka je makaranta an ka je makaranta ka fahimci Qur'ani shikenan ya good to you is it that like wannan ke ya ake ce shi cikin Hausa is that our major problem that we don't like going to school but we think that makaranta is the it for us.
The issue here is not about we don't like going to school ba batun ba mu son zuwa school ba in ka duba ma in ka zo zango yaran sun fi son ma su da makaranta kin fahimci ko amma farko mas'uliya ko kuwa uba wanda zai zama uba wanda annabi Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam ya ce kamar wai in an baka yaro ya kamata yaro nan ka rene shi har ka mai aure na wannan mas'uliya yake shine masalan nan yaron na son school amma ne yana zuwa school da yunwa yana zuwa school da amin gafara wannan shaye-yaye da sauransu bai ga amfani kuma shi bari wannan ne masala malami da kuma wanda yayi school na kuma sun taso wanda yayi school na kuma mu ne wato mu muka waye da kuma muka waye malami kuma shi ma shi karatu yasa yanzu ya kamata da su hada kai wanda shi ce ya waye je school nan da malamin da san Qur'ani sha zauna duba to ya zamu yi mu shape abinda muka bari baya matasa mai da mu kawo musu aiki yau ba aiki samar na son ya aure bai ya aure budurwa na son aure wanda take son bai da kudi wadanga abubuwa ya mu fara tunanin shi yanda zamu yi mu tafi yasa ba wai ba san amfanin ko ba san masalan abin politics bane amma ya zama awiya ne in an kare noma in wurin girbewa bai da amfani haka muka zama cikin zangon mu mun zama awiya in an ka girbewa mu da amfani yasa ya kamata manyan duka mu dawo mu fara tunani ya za mu yi mu magance wannan ciwo shine masala.
Right, Adnan, Imam spoke about the community leaders. Yes. What do you think they should do to curb this kind of violence in our Zongo communities and underdevelopment?
For me, I have a very unconventional approach when we tend to give the impression that there's a lot of poverty in our Zongos. I think it's on the flip side. Okay. Because there's a lot of wealth in our Zongos. It's just we have a problem with prioritization. For instance, from Friday to Sunday, the hours that we perform, just put your mind back, the amount of money that goes out of the Zongo. So the one by the street side selling lamuji and the few coins she's making, excuse me, but the impression that we get, most of them, the focus is in getting how she can be able to save money to buy the yai for this, the yai for that, the yai for that.
I'm not cutting you short, but then you see, when it comes to infrastructural development, Zongo seems to be lacking a lot. When you go to our inner Zongos, you find that gutters are nowhere to be found. You find Medina, for instance, is a very well demarcated community. When you go into the Medina community, there's a problem with gutters. So whoever fetches water pours it on the floor, and then when it rains, the place is almost flooded. Yes. So living in such communities where infrastructure, schools are not even properly built, if not maybe for private individuals who build schools there, government hardly builds schools in the Zongos communities. So when they wake up and they see that, I live in a dirty community, I live in a community where it does not look like like any development is going on, why should I bother? As an individual.
Yeah, thank you. But there's a saying that pain or any form of discomfort is a call to action. If you look at your surrounding, if you trickle it down to your own self, things that you are not happy about, the question that should come to your mind is, what can I do about it? Have we asked ourselves that question? And yes, of course, the national cake is for all of us, but there's a lot of struggle for that national cake.
Yeah.
The people that you have at the decision-making table to front for you makes a lot of impact in the amount of developmental opportunities that you get in your community. So like my brother said, we need to find a way. You see, we are moving in isolation. We have a lot of distinguished personalities from the Zongo. Today even we people like His Excellency the Vice President, His Excellency the President, former President John Dramani Mahama. You go to both the minority and the majority side, a lot of distinguished members of parliament, influential people from our communities. We can do more. What we also need to improve upon is our support systems. You see, gone are the days when we were growing up, I don't know your generation, but when we were growing up, if your father was out of the community, but there was always someone to ensure that you were checked upon.
Yeah.
You could not go about to misbehave because your own parents are not there. But today we've allowed some sort of new systems to crop into us, and it has distracted our way of living. You know, gone are the days when we are all each other's keepers. Now it's just about your mother and your father. Even identical twins today, if they have their own separate children, none of them can interfere in the other's child. So we have to understand that raising a child is the responsibility of the entire community, because as a parent, it's not every point in time that you always be available to check on your child. And when we take them to school, we have a lot of schools in our Zongos, but how many Muslims even take their children to Muslim schools? Look at the Wesley girls.
Isn't it because they think that the Zongo schools are not properly managed? They do not teach the kids the right things to do, because when you go to a lot of the Zongo schools, seriously, the infrastructure even does not encourage you to send your child there. You see students walking around, you see their uniforms, and it's looking haggard. A well-to-do Zongo person, I don't think, would willingly take his child to a Zongo school.
Who are the managers of the Zongo schools?
That is the fact.
They are in our own territories. If there is any group of people that should understand the importance and uphold and value education, it should be Muslims. The first revelation that came, it was about education. What else do we want? What other examples do we want? So we need to go back and sit down and understand. We need to know these are the problems. But there's no problem that is insurmountable.
Yeah.
Every problem, once you have the mindset, the right mindset, and the right people, you know, surrounding the problem to be able to develop solutions for it, we will be able to overcome them. There's so much potential in Zongo. Look at all of our youngsters in cybercrime. It means they have a skill in computing.
Yes.
How are we bringing them together and turning it into something positive for our community and the larger Ghanaian group? And that takes a lot of effort. It takes a lot of concerted approach. The chiefs, the scholars, the educated ones, the business people, all of us, we need to come together and be able to exploit the potential in the zone.
Before I go to Imam, you mentioned the Wegehe issue.
Yeah.
So far, what's next? We had, when the issue came up, we heard that, oh, okay, the minister was trying to engage with the schools, and then the imams, chief imam's office engaged the minister's office, and then they were like, they'll come out with a solution. We've not heard anything so far. Has Life Foundation followed up to see what is happening currently?
We've done our bits. We've also followed through what is in the grapevine, in the media, you know, as all of us have heard. And we want to, like the parliamentary caucus are doing, they are putting in efforts to ensure that the issue is resolved. But most importantly for me, it's a wake-up call to Muslims. this incident has awakened Muslims to see the need to work towards having some sort of self-reliance in ourselves. This is the time. Look at the amount of money in terms of sponsorship that has come into the Muslim community from the Arab world. If Muslims could come together in this country, how many are we? Let's even assume we are 5 million. Out of the 30 odd millions that they said we are just 5 million. If every Muslim was contributing one cedi into an account to be used for Muslim development, every month we will be generating 5 million Ghana cedis. Every year, you can think of the amount of money that we'll be making, even if it's 10 million. What developmental activity can we not do with such amounts of money? So we need to go back to the drawing table and ask certain questions, reflect over where we have come so far, where we are, and charter a path. You know, how do we want to shape our communities? How do we want to live? What sort of environment do we want for ourselves? And how do we position our youngsters strategically so that we'll be able to, whilst we are exploiting opportunities within the government level, within ourselves we'll be making certain efforts. And I think that is where the Light Foundation, Bina TV, and other organizations come in.
Imam, maybe the solution in the Dhaka, like Professor Zungonemo, about entering into politics, violence, the surrounds, maybe in the siyasa violence. One solution that achieve Babu is so Fadi Mayara Mundasuke Kas Matasakuma. This is not the right thing to do. Options, other options to that one.
Farko dai shawara na yaje ga manya. Yaro dai ko samari yake kamin ayi a ce mai kabar wannan sai a kawo mai abin da za su hannun shi. Yaro ya rika abu ya ce ina son ya rika abu, in ka ce a ka rika wannan karbi wannan to ya iya yayi. Ya kamata mu fara tunanin batun aikin su. Aikin matasa, yaran da ke zuwa karatu zamu ba su. Sannan kuma su matasa mu su san kamar da brother ya fadi cewa lalle ne babu shakka in ka bata wannan garin naka, garin ka bata. Annan Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam kuma ce wai dukkan wanda ya daga muna adda ko karfe ba shi tare da mu. Annabi kuma yace kuma lalle ne babu shakka dukkan wanda ka tuce shi ko mai bautan turu ne kana cikin policy kowa ka taba mai mari wallahi shi an rama maka kiyama shi an ka biyan bashi ko mai sha kace mutane dari in dai ka taba mai wani mari wanda bai san da komai ba wai saboda politics wallahi shi ka biya yasa abin da muke yi ya komo kanmu in mutum annabi ya ce wai mu ji tsoron wani abu addu'an wanda ka tuce shi ka politics saboda 100 Ghana 50 Ghana ka tuce mutane da dama ka buga ka bata lura ka wani ne wani ya ce ma Allah ya isa wallahi ka kare ka wannan Allah ya isa so dai wa Allah ya san bai taba kai da kanka kana nan kaman kana jin dadi wata rana bayan ka girma ka sufa shi Allah bar yaran ka duka su siyasi yanzu su yaran sun lallace kana zaune kana cin ranka saboda mari da kai cikin politics saboda amanan da ka ci cikin unguwanka wannan ya taba ka yasa mu sani cewa mu kama ibadan Allah in mutum na son ka samu hakanka kagan farko kada kai wasa da ibadan Allah na biyu kada kai wasa da addu'a na uku ji tsoron amanan mutane to wannan abu uku in ka rika baka taba jin kunya a cikin duniya yasa matasa yanzu muke rayuwa muna son rayuwar mu yayi kyau to mu bar amanan mutane yasa politics in an kira ka in kana da ilimi je cikin in baka da ilimi ne mai aikin ka amma ce doko sanda da wane ne wannan ba aikin ka bane in kai zaka lallace in kai zaka sino wannan shine shawara na.
Brother Nan, what's next for Light Foundation? Where do you want to see yourself, or what impact do you want to leave behind the Zongo community?
The Light Foundation is an ambitious organization. We over the years have worked, and he has rightly said we now have presence in all the 16 regions in the country. We are working on our partnerships in a way that we can. The foundation work is all about funds. As an NGO, it's not as if you have funds available to you for you to work, but how you position yourself, the work that you do, the commitment that you attach to your work will draw other organizations to want to partner with you. And we've been fortunate over the years to have worked with institutions such as UNICEF. We work with a global organization that is called Salam Charity based in the UK. We've worked with Star Ghana, UNDP is in the pipeline, and a host of other organizations, local and international, that we've worked with. We are hoping to become a global organization that will champion the cause of Muslims, and by extension to other people. Because as a Muslim, we don't only have a duty to ourselves, but we have a duty to our neighbors and humanity in general. So the Light Foundation is looking to become a global organization in the not too distant future.
We have a few minutes to go, so I'll let you take your final words, the final advice to the youth, so that we quickly wrap up. So let's start from Imam Yankuri. The final words in Kadari da Shikaba.
Abin da zan ce ni shawara na zuwa ga matasa da kuma iyaye su duba wurin tarbiyya, sai kuma matasa kuma kowa abin da kake koyi shi da kyau. Kaga yau ai studio muke cikin ga ko da in mutu ya rika kamera yana ce wai foto wai haramu ne ko in mutu ya zama visual abin da wai bai da kyau ko to ina nan wani lokaci na ga advert wani mai wazi daga London ina neman wanda ya zuwa visual art education aiki yau dawa da kanshi ma shi da studio shi da camera shi da visual art don visual art na shi zai bar mutum ya kama kalmar kuma me ke ga barin karanta yasa wadanda ilimi duka abin da zai amfana da mutum ka ta koyi shi da kyau samari inda kake duka kada koyi da kyau ya maka amfani ka dauki niyya kai tawakkali zuwa ga Allah insha Allah ya yi kyau Allah ya samu dace.
My final word is in threefold. First, to the leadership of our communities. Leadership should not just be in titles. There's a huge responsibility that comes in being a leader. You must understand those responsibilities and act upon them. You have a duty to the people that you superintend over. Are you an imam? Your domain that you live as a spiritual leader, you must make sure that you preside over your people with the right honesty and integrity, because they say our actions are more of a dawah than what we say. So let's be cautious with our actions. Our chiefs, they should also understand that they have a huge responsibility to their people, and we, the followers, the chief, the ulama can have the best mindset, the right approach, but if the willingness from the people is not forthcoming, they won't be able to do their work. And lastly, to the parents. For me, my thinking, my philosophy has always been that as a father, the children that I've given birth to, that was my decision. And a blessing from God. Allah accepted my decision and blessed me with a child. They didn't decide to come to the world. I decided to marry. I decided to go intimate with my wife, and Allah blessed us through that process, and that child came. There's a lot of responsibility that come along with that. How well you nurture that child to become a responsible citizen, both first of all to themselves, to you the parents, and to society. We have a lot to offer. We have a lot of talent wasting away in our Zongo communities. We have to go there, exploit this talent, and make sure we polish them, nurture them, make them very competitive for Ghana as a country.
Thank you very much. Unfortunately, this is where time permits us. I've been doing this with Brother ADNAN MUSTAPHA. He's the monitoring and evaluation officer and manager at Light Foundation, and Imam YUSSIF SAKIB, the PRO of Light Foundation. Kudos to my entire production team, Ahmed, Habib, my producer, Alima, Zulaiha, and YUSSIF, and the entire staff at YUSSIF TV. Thank you. Bye-bye.